Heels on Wheels, the racing show by female racers, for female racers, featuring female racers, with a few surprises thrown in. Now, here's your host, Sports Car Club of America and NASA road racer Kim Ratcliffe.
It's Heels on Wheels, the women's racing show that thinks a race car is not gender biased. I'm the producer, Bob Steele, and we have an excellent show lined up for you today. A shot of Beauty's Got Muscle with KDP, go-kart champion Fabienne Lanz, pro road racer Mickey Wright, and Sizzlin' Scotty with another one of his great tailgate grilling recipes. So let's not wait any longer. Heels on Wheels is up right after these messages.
This is Heels on Wheels on the PerformanceMotorsportNetwork.com. Now, back to the fastest ladies on four wheels.
And this is Jean Kinser Dana. We are back for Heels on Wheels with Performance Motorsports Network. On the line with me today, I'm very happy to have Fabienne Lanz from Sprain. She is a high-performance Rotax racer. So I hear that you got your start in racing at a family go-karting outing when the adults had to take a break. So tell us about that.
They let all the kids go for a run while they were all catching their breath and everything. And I think you could walk faster than I drove. I was so slow. But from that moment, I got hooked, and I told my dad, please take me to the kart track every day. The good part was that this indoor karting track was like, I think 500 meters from his workshop. So school holidays was easy. I could just go spend every day there, which I did. And then in December, just before I turned 9, he bought me my first kart.
Oh my gosh! So your family, you went on a karting trip all together, and that's what got you started?
Yes, that's actually how we started. And funny enough, the karts then weren't made for kids or anything like that. So it was really difficult being so small, only 8 years old, trying it out. But I made a plan. He put pillows in for me, everything. I said, we have to make a plan. I got to drive.
Now, did you have other brothers and sisters that were doing this with you, or were you the only sibling?
We all went together. So I got an older sister and an older brother. And for some reason or another, they didn't like it. My sister does horse riding, so she does the 1 horsepower thing.
Okay, well, you went from karting, and then I see you went into Legends, and what else have you done? You've done a lot.
Yeah, karting is still the main thing that I'm doing. And then the Legends racing, I started properly the middle of this year, something completely different. But very nice. It's a different learning curve to that. And then I did some saloon car racing. I started it last year. But every now and then. So, yes, karting is still the main thing that I'm doing. But it's, slowly moving into the main circuit racing. It is tough, for a girl competing against guys that's all the time. There's no girl category or anything like that. So every move I do, I have to make sure that it is a good move and that we shine and that we're in the front and show to everybody that women can do it too.
Now, I wanted to ask you, how old are you right now?
I'm now 26.
Yeah, because you're a very beautiful girl and you're a very youngster looking on your pictures that I see. Do you find that there's a lot of differences? I don't know if you've been over to the U.S. Have you got to do any racing over here or no?
I have. In 2003, I went to Florida and I raced in the Rotax series there in the Junior Max. And we won 2 of the 3 rounds we did there and finished second in the other one. And then I returned there last year to do a 24-hour race in Charlotte with the Batalco team from Bahrain. And being the only girl in the team and winning the fastest lap there of the race was very rewarding. It was a good experience. I definitely want to go to the U.S. more often.
Do you find there's a difference between the attitudes and how people are in the U.S. for racing versus over where you're at?
There's a lot of similarities. I think maybe it's difficult to say. I think they were more supportive in the U.S. of didn't matter, they just wanted more girls, just race, and it's cool. And the moment, obviously, being fast and striving to win, they really like that. But I think Danica Patrick might have been a good help to that. I always use her as an example, and I follow her a lot. And I admire what she does, and I think it helps for here, because a lot of the people in South Africa still think the men can do it better. So they're moving towards where women can also race, but it's getting there slowly.
I was just going to ask you, as far as role models go, Danica Patrick is one for you?
Yes, very much so.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, as far as like training and stuff, through the years, have you gone to any schools, anything that has really made a difference to you that some of the listeners out there might want to hear, where places they can go?
Well, I got my own training school or driving school that kids currently come to, which are formed into a racing team also for karting. And basically, I teach them everything from basics to advanced on everything that I've learned over the years. And I mainly focus on the relationships, because I've really seen that if you can build a good relationship with your engineer, your mechanic, your whoever that supports you, you can really go a long way. And each person is different. So it's really nice to see the different attitudes and characters that come on through these different drivers. And I see it a lot also when I go race overseas, sort of what the engineers like to hear and so on. So yes, relationship is very important.
Well, let me ask you this, because when it comes to mechanics, I am the worst person ever. I can tell you when you do shock settings, tire pressure, stuff like that, but to work on a car, anything, no way. Do you get to work on your own stuff?
I do, very much so. I can completely disassemble the racing carts and then reassemble the whole thing again on my own. I've always said it's better to know your racing machine, because when you're driving on the track and you're busy thinking of what the handling's doing, you need to know what setup you have to then relay this to the engineer to then decide what you want to do to change or to improve the setup for that particular day. When it comes to engines, I haven't come that far yet.
Well, I don't care. You're still impressive to me. You can do a lot more. I don't even think I can do my oil right now. Oh, my gosh. You're very, very impressive. Now, as far as, like, aspirations, what do you see in your future? I mean, what do you want to stick with karting? Do you want to go into any type series, or where would you want to end up?
I think Formula One has always been the pinnacle for me. A lot of the vision for most South Africans is European type of racing. Not many have ventured into the US side of racing, but I do think maybe that's an avenue to go to, like Indy cars in the US, or in the Europe, something like Formula Renault, then maybe GP3, GP2, that type of racing.
Wow, you are going to you are really going to go places, I can tell, because you have good aspirations. Now, have you brought any of your friends who are boys, or do you have any boyfriends that are very much, in admiration of what you do?
Very much. My friends are very supportive. Even the girls, they're very supportive. They don't see themselves racing them as well, but very supportive. And then, yes, I have a boyfriend. He happens to race himself, and he understands, what I go through, and he knows when it's race day, it's business, it's my job, and which is really nice. So he's really supportive on that level.
Oh, that's awesome. You're really lucky there. Now, off-track wise, what do you do for off-track, like for your hobbies, job-wise?
Well, job-wise is, again, it's at the racetrack. So if it has to be off the track, it would be on the grass next to the track, busy teaching the kids where to go. And then sort of as a hobby, I like to be adventurous. South Africa has so many nice outdoor places to go and visit. We've got the Big Five. there's so many things that you can do here, and the weather is really great. We're in the summer at the moment. So something like rock climbing or going to the river, if we can go to because I live inland, if we can go to the coastal area, very nice beaches. So anything outdoor.
Well, that's awesome. Do you have any advice as we close this up? Do you have any advice for any young and upcoming girl racers that maybe they can take to heart and use when they go to try to start a career like this?
Yes, I think it's very hard for girls that don't come from a racing family, for actually the family to understand that she likes speed as well. She likes the complexity of motor racing. It has so many aspects to it, but in the long run, it actually builds characters in each person. And I know as a girl, it can be very daunting and difficult because you're up against all these guys all the time. But so you got to fight harder and you got to prove your point over and over again. But it's really one of those things where you just got to persevere, and you just got to convince your dad and your mom that this is cool and other girls do it too. And just keep pushing, just keep persevering.
Well, that is great advice. We always like to give anybody a time, if you have sponsors, a website, Facebook, anybody, how they can find you. We always like to let you give a shout out for that.
Yeah, I've got a website. It's fabienneracing.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, wherever you put my name, Fabienne Lanz, you'll find me. Sponsors, I'm happy to say that I've got quite a few on board. I've got a whole list to mention: Iveco, Formula K, we've got Oilco, we've got First Race, we've got Gary Stevenson Computing, NGK, Hoffman, Calfreight, a whole list of them, and including the family. The support from the family is always great.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you, Fabienne. This has been Fabienne Lanz out of Africa. You can find her where she just offered, where she can be found. We hope that you will keep up to date. Let us know how your career is going. We will love to catch up with you and report on those. And this has been Jean Kinser for Heels on Wheels, part of Performance Motorsports Network. We'll be back after these messages.
You got it locked to Heels on Wheels, the PerformanceMotorsportsNetwork.com, a member of the Scorpion Radio Group. Now back to the women wearing the driver's suits.
You've been listening to Heels on Wheels. Thanks so much to our guests, go-kart champion Fabienne Lanz, pro road racer Mickey Wright, a shot of Beauty's Got Muscle with KDP, and Sizzlin' Scotty with one of his great tailgate grilling recipes. Our hosts have been Jean Kinser, Stacey Grammer, Kimberly Roberts, and Krista Elise. You can check out Sizzlin' Scotty's Facebook page, facebook.com/tailgategrilling with Sizzlin' Scotty, and our very own show Facebook page, Heels on Wheels radio program. Our executive producer is Taylor Hyatt. I'm Bob Steele. Thanks for listening. And remember, take a kid to the races this weekend.
Heels on Wheels is a copyrighted production of www.performancemotorsportsnetwork.com, a member of the Scorpion Radio Group, Incorporated, and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. Check out our Facebook page, Heels on Wheels Radio Show, or our section on the PMN website. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either PMN or Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated. Be listening next week as the fastest women on the planet rev it up and talk racing.